Welcome to M&G Agency Life, your regular dose of creativity, insights, and all things Mearns Gill.
Join us on this whirlwind journey through the world of marketing, design, and digital.
We'll also talk brand, events, media, and lots more.
Like what happens behind the scenes?
Yeah, and the latest industry trends, we've got you covered.
So get ready to dive into the world of agency.
Right, shall we do this?
Oh, heck yes.
Well, here we are. Welcome along to episode 1 of M&G Agency Life.
This is the podcast from Mearns Gill, recorded right here in the Mearns Gill podcast room.
And you know what? I think we're off to a really strong start just with that intro music. You have no idea how long it took us to land on a piece of music that we could all embrace, but I think we got there. We went through all the genres. We went through jazz, country, hip hop at one point, but we found something that we think works for us. So, what now?
Shall we do some introductions?
That's a good idea. Okay, right. So I guess we're going to be your hosts on this podcast. You go first, Aimee.
Okay, I'm Aimee and I'm an event manager here at Mearns Gill. My background varies from marketing, events, and different industries. So yeah, happy to be here. And to be honest, I've never been on a podcast before.
Well, that's a good start. We're all here in this together, and you know what? You're a good all-rounder. So it's good to have you on the podcast. A little bit about me. So I'm Pete. I'm quite new to Mearns Gill. I look after our media solutions department. My background is a mix of agency, media, marketing, and radio broadcasting. So Aimee, what I thought we could do is, I've done a little bit of stalking on your LinkedIn bio, and I'm going to read it and we can just see if this is accurate. So This is Aimee. I'm an experienced events and marketing professional working as an event manager at Mearns Gill. My specialities include event planning and management, digital and partnership marketing, communications, brand development, and content creation.
Yep.
Is that accurate?
You
haven't lied on your LinkedIn, have you, Aimee?
I've never lied on my LinkedIn. So, I mean, I have yours in front of me as well.
No.
So we can test this out.
Go on then.
So Pete is an agency professional with a mix of marketing, broadcast, and media experience. Tick, tick. As a seasoned player in the creative industry, I have a knack of forging strong connections and delivering innovative solutions. Wow. Alongside my role at Mearns Gill, you can catch me in the mornings on Original 106. You can.
Yeah. You
bright and early.
You got to embrace things a little bit on your LinkedIn bio. But I would say that's all accurate. I would say we're doing okay.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I think we should get into a little bit of a podcast scene setter, which brings us on nicely to this next bit. So Aimee, what can we expect from M&G Agency Life?
Yeah, very good point. So, I mean, our aim is to give you a bit of a glimpse into agency life. We'll chat about our services, provide useful insights, hints and tips. And we'll be getting to know the team as well and all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, which is very fun. I mean, we're not going to be short of content, that's for sure.
We are definitely not going to be short of content. I'm a little bit nervous about some of the behind the scenes stuff going on, what I've seen so far at Mearns Gill.
Indeed.
I'm excited. Okay, let's get into it. As this is episode 1, let's get the lowdown on Mearns Gill, and who better to do this than our very own managing director? It's Michael Wilson, everybody.
Hi, Pete. Hi, Aimee.
Come on, that is an intro.
Yeah.
That is some intro. I don't think I've ever had that amount of applause before in my life.
I will not overuse the effects on this podcast, I promise, although I probably will. Mike, first of all, from me, thank you very much for giving me the budget to make this amazing podcast room. What do you think about it so far?
I think it looks brilliant and great to have some talented presenters helping us through this podcast series.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, one question. Aimee has requested a neon light that says live, laugh, love. What's your thoughts on that?
Why not? I think that's a great thing to live by. Live, laugh,
Motto
love.
in life. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Would I be pushing the budget too much if I purchased a mini bar? What do you think?
Let's do that phase 2.
I mean, I'm thinking it's going to put our clients at ease when they come into the M&G podcast room.
With non-alcoholic beer, presumably.
Yeah, of course. Right, well, I will put that request in at a later date, and we'll see if that gets approved. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, good start.
You want one of these globes with the drinks inside that Alan Carr used to do.
I think you're on board with this.
Yeah,
I think you're on board. Mike, I guess as a nice little introduction to the agency and to Mearns Gill, you can maybe start by giving us a brief overview of the history of Mearns Gill.
Absolutely. Well, history is that it was founded on the 14th of February, Valentine's Day, 1936, by a married couple, James and Agnes Mearns, and it started life as Mearns Publicity.
Wow,
that was the name. It was £1,000. They got two £500 loans.
Wow.
One from Aberdeen architect T. Scott Sutherland, which the Scott Sutherland Institute at RGU is named after, and a coal and shipping businessman called Lex Davidson, and they got that £1,000 and they started the business, and it's grown from there.
With £1,000.
£1,000, that was it. Which would have been a lot of money in those days.
Yeah,
sure. It would be. So what was that date that it started again?
1936.
Now, can we claim to be the longest running agency in Scotland, do you think?
We can, absolutely. I think that's a definite reality. I've got some more dates for you if you want.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so 1950s, the siblings Graham and Leslie Mearns joined the business, so they were the second generation.
Okay.
And quite a lot of people might remember that it was Mearns Publications that used to produce guidebooks for tourist destinations in and around Aberdeen. So we've still got some of those as the archives.
So like a tourist guide to Deeside and places like that.
To Deeside and to Ellen and to Stonehaven and all these places.
Brilliant.
So we have some of those books, leaflets still kicking around as old publications. So, and then actually we moved here to Garden Place in 1959. So we've been in this location for a number of years. So
wow, old building.
Yeah, exactly. So and then it goes into that was the Mearns side. The Gill side came in 1971 when Mearns Publicity merged with J.D. Gill Advertising to become Mearns & Gill Advertising. So we've been in Mearns & Gill Advertising since 1971.
Right.
And then third generation was Alan and Tanya Mearns. They joined in 1978. Then since then, we've kind of added events into the scheme. That was about 2000s. And then in 2016 is when I acquired the business. When it celebrated its 80th year, so I've been here since then. So, interesting fact would be I used to be a customer of Mearns & Gill. So, for those of you who are old enough to remember, you won't be Amy. The Victor Khayyam of Remington Shavers had a catchphrase about I liked the product so much that I bought the company.
Yeah.
So there you go, customer turned owner.
So you are living that phrase then.
I am indeed, absolutely.
Brilliant.
So, not many people will remember that.
So there we go. That's quite an interesting history.
Definitely.
Quite a lot going on there. Quite a lot that I've learned because I'm quite new to the business. So that was really interesting to hear. Thank you, Mike.
No problem.
Perfect. So we now have the history, which is great. And I mean, let's get into the services. Mike, can you give us an overview of what services that we offer?
Certainly, Amy. Yeah, absolutely. So we are what they call a full service agency, which means that we support clients across all of their marketing needs. I think very much it's around the fact we've got subject matter experts who are real specialists in each area. And that means that we can develop long-term relationships with clients and really help them achieve their marketing goals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Specifically, do you want to go into each service roughly?
Yeah,
Give us a quick touch.
Go for it.
Yeah, let's do a quick overview of each of the services that we have.
So brand first, I suppose, is all about creating strong and authentic brand identities that customers kind of trust. So there's definitely a branding piece that we've got within the business. And some talent there. Website design, that's about professionally created web design and providing great user experiences and making sure that the user experience is correct.
Yeah, website's obviously very important. It's quite often the first point of contact, isn't it?
Sure.
Absolutely. First impression, and it's how people will see you when they got an interest in your business at all. They'll go to your website and they'll make a judgment based on that. So your website does have to be spot on to make sure that works. So do a lot of advertising and PR, just in terms of making campaigns for people, in terms of press, outdoor, radio, TV, online and podcasting, obviously.
Here we are.
So, indeed. Then obviously digital, there's a massive amount of digital work goes on out there in terms of it's such a detailed landscape, but such an important landscape because so many people consume information now through digitally. So we do a lot of digital work with clients. And then we've got this media hub in terms of for video and audio content, and looking forward to that podcast opportunity growing for a lot of clients. And then finally events. We do client events and just help clients. That's part of Amy's role to make events just truly memorable and just take the hassle out of running events for clients and make sure that they are as good as we possibly can make them. So lots going on.
What I like is a lot of these departments all integrate and we all collab with each other. So for example, we have a full design team which will lead into the stuff we do with marketing and advertising. So they'll work with the account managers to come up with the design of creative campaigns, and digital will feed into that in terms of how we kind of roll out these campaigns and events and PR work together. So it's a great kind of team atmosphere here, but I love the crossover between each of our services.
Yeah, one happy team. And I think from the client point of view, it's also one business that they're dealing with. And you get the individual talented people that help you, but ultimately it's the one business you're dealing with from our perspective.
Perfect. I mean, that's a really good overview of the services here at Mearns Gill. Each of the podcast series will dive a little bit deeper into the individual services that we offer. So you'll find out more about that in due course.
Yeah, we've got such a vast variety of skill sets and people within this business. So I'm really excited into kind of digging deeper and exploring all of these insights as we get through the series. So Mike, we've spoken about the services. That was a great overview of what we offer. How about the culture at Mearns Gill?
Yeah, I think I would say that we are helping clients meet their marketing goals. So I would say the overall culture of the business is very much customer-centric. The team, do live and breathe doing what's best for the clients on a day-to-day basis. And I know it's a bit cheesy, but it's very true that it is focused on the client and doing what is best for the client. And that's a great culture to have, that actually the client really is the number one priority in the business. And as you say, then everyone helps each other to make sure that what the client needs is delivered. And then out with that, I would say in terms of, apart from focusing on some financial targets, everything's quite relaxed. I think there's definitely an element of, we allow a blend of home and office working. We have a choice of office treats every month.
Yes,
we love them.
We love the
perks. Which is normally chocolate or sweets.
Something you can eat. I feel like that is the rule.
Yeah,
something you can eat.
Sometimes throw in a plant as an option and it never gets voted for. Or we have had a cuddly toy voted for once, but I think that's because we had them all as cuddly toys one month. So.
No chance.
But and I think there's also we have a couple of therapy dogs that come in, which are dogs of members of staff, and they are well welcomed, I think.
I've only met one of them. So Isla's dog, which is named Betty Hope.
Yeah,
she's a real character. She likes to come into the office quite often.
Struts her stuff in this office.
So I've met Betty Hope. She might even feature on one of the podcasts.
Maybe.
I think we should have to at some point.
And what's the other one?
Reggie.
Reggie,
Sarah's dog.
Sarah Wise dog,
I've yet to meet Reggie, but I absolutely love this about the team and how flexible we are. And, from a bit of a newbie coming in, I really enjoy the working atmosphere in this office. We have a lot of fun. We work hard. We do the very best for our clients, but we have a lot of fun doing it along the way.
Yeah, I think there's definitely everyone gets on, which is great, and then out with the office we have some fun nights out, and of course this year we've also signed up to do the beast race together. There's 40 of us going to do the beast race, so that might be a different test of whether we can actually haul each other across obstacles.
It's a bit of a team building one. The beast race, if you haven't heard for it, it's a 10k obstacle course near Bankery at Knockburn Loch, and it involves everything from dipping under mud through various obstacles, hay bales, going into the loch itself. I think it's either going to make us or break us, Mike.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
I think some will be broken and some will be made.
I think we need to revisit that in a later podcast.
For sure.
Once we've done it, and we'll see how everyone goes. And as for the nights out, I'd like to think as we get through the series, we'll kind of dig into some of the stuff that goes on.
Share the secrets.
I don't know how much of it we
Maybe
can
not.
share. But we'll try our best to share some of it. So I guess that leads nicely on to the team here at Mearns Gill. There's 20 of us. And Mike, we've got quite a varied bunch working here, don't we?
Yeah, no, very much so. I think it's a young, dynamic team. It's definitely skills driven in terms of making sure that we've got all those skill sets that the clients need in an agency. And I think just, a real mix of types of people, ages.
Yeah.
I'm definitely the oldest member of the team.
I wasn't going to say that.
No, it didn't cross our mind.
By some way, I think, in reality. I think, but I think that is about keeping up to date. Marketing develops so much and so quickly that you need to keep yourself fresh, the existing team learn new skills, but also bringing in new skill sets so that, we are experts in marketing, so you need to make sure that expertise is there and that you can really support clients where they need that expertise. So
that's a really good point about keeping up with trends, because certainly in the digital space, things happen so quickly and things change all the time, don't they?
Absolutely. And I think, podcasting is a good example of that. It really is a way now where you can communicate with whether that's internally or externally. And it's great that we're in that space and we're making sure that we are keeping up to date with how you need to communicate.
Yeah, and hopefully adding a bit of personality or letting people know the personality behind the business, which is what I'm looking forward to, is chatting to our subject matter experts, but all the people in this team. And we're also toying with the idea, Mike, of doing a little behind the scenes. What goes on behind the scenes each week?
As you know, Pete, there are lots of personalities in this business, you two included. And I'm sure throughout the podcast you'll get to hear and enjoy all the different personalities that we've got here as part of the team.
Okay, perfect. That gives us a good overview of the history. So, what is the vision for the future? Where do you see us going?
I think it's about continuing to grow. It's definitely been a growth journey since I've been here, and I think that's through developing existing clients and gaining new clients. I think we have expertise in these areas, and it's very much around, there's almost more ways we can help existing clients, and there's also more clients we can help. So it's definitely a kind of just generally growing the business. Over time, I think, we may also branch into other locations, maybe a Mearns Gill office in the Central Belt. Although I think the team would prefer it if it was Mearns Gill Las Vegas. But,
I was going to say,
let's start a bit closer to home, I think. I'm sure if I put a poll out as to where we'd like another office, it would definitely not be the Central Belt, but that's the natural place to look at.
I'll take it.
And that's an exciting thought. There's a lot of exciting stuff happening down in the Central Belt, but where we are in Aberdeen, there's so much going on with the range of different clients that we work with, from our energy clients through to a whole bunch of retail clients that we work with. So I think we're in quite an exciting location.
Yeah, I think it is that element of you've just got the ability to help so many different people in this area, and that's why I also think, why not do that in another area as well, and keep the culture and the expertise that we've got in Mearns Gill, and just keep that moving forwards. And thankfully got a team that are absolutely behind that view and are excited about taking it forward, which is great.
There we go. Watch this space.
Yeah,
Mike, really want to ask you this: what do you love most about our business? What do you love most about Mearns Gill?
I think, Pete, there's three things I would say I love most about Mearns Gill. I think, firstly, we help other businesses grow their businesses. That's for me the real joy of it. Marketing is all about connecting businesses with their current and their prospective customers. But because we do marketing that works, what we do actually helps other businesses be more successful. And I think there's a real buzz in seeing that happen, and just a great way of actually helping people who come and say, I want to do X, Y, and Z, and actually helping them achieve that. So it's very fulfilling in that sense, in terms of helping other people do, improve their businesses, which is fantastic.
And I suppose especially in that brand space where we've created a new brand, a brand identity, and you see that from scratch growing and turning into a successful business.
Yeah, and I think it's at every level, to be honest. I think whether it's a brand or whether it's some digital campaign or whether it's, some podcasting or some event, it really is you're getting alongside clients, you're helping them achieve their marketing goals. And that's really, the feedback loop on that is very good, because you get lots of great feedback on how it really works, and it really makes a difference to that business.
Okay, so you said three things.
Yeah, okay.
That's one.
Number two is I love the fact that anyone is a potential client, and that follows on to the fact the range of clients that we work with. Yeah. So, everyone can use a bit of marketing, and I think the kind of example of that for me was I went from a morning, very high-end, glamorous photo shoot in the morning to discussing gravestones with a client in the afternoon.
Which side of the camera were you on?
On both sides, I was behind the camera, obviously. So, but there's not many jobs you go from a kind of glamorous photo shoot to doing something like a gravestone brochure design. So,
absolutely.
And I think all our clients are so different, whether it be and across sectors as well. There's obviously a lot of energy sector being in Aberdeen, but there's also food and drink. There's also tourism and everything. So I love that variety. As a business that you can have, whereas it's not many businesses you can have that level of variety.
Definitely.
Okay. And number 3?
Lastly, and probably most importantly, actually, is the talent that we have in the team. I think there's no doubt about the fact.
Yeah, no, and that's number 3 though.
I know I said most importantly. So, because then you leave that in people's minds.
Yeah, exactly.
I think there is, we have got best industry talent here in the team, and that, combined with great clients means that we really make a difference for companies. And I think, if you didn't have that talent, it would be a hard slog. But it's great from my perspective to know that we can bring to clients that really, top of industry expertise, and that's where it makes a difference.
Okay, so Aimee, just to put you on the spot, what do you love most about Mearns Gill?
I think I would kind of echo what Mike was saying, to be honest. Like, I do find it very rewarding working here in terms of the people and the clients, but especially from like an events perspective as well. Like, a lot of work and effort and time goes into bringing an event to life and really working with your client to get the most out of that event. But the rewarding aspect is seeing it all come to life at the end of the day. You're coming to the end of an event and you're standing there looking at a room and thinking, wow, I did this with the help of the team, obviously. But it's very rewarding seeing the smiles on your faces and kind of just really working with your client and the kind of feedback you get at the end of the day is definitely worth it. So it's worth the hard work.
That sense of achievement that we all get. And equally, guys, I would agree. For me, it's the variety. I mean, my role is very much focused on our media solutions offering. So, one day last week I was up a hill, Clackaghnaben, filming hikers. And then the next day I was in the podcast room recording a podcast. And the variety really excites me across, as well as the variety of sectors that we work across. Right then, that's just about it for our first episode of M&G Agency Life. If you want to know more about anything we've spoken about, or just want to put some faces to the names, where can you find us, Aimee?
Yep, you can find us on Instagram at Mearns Gill, or check us out on Facebook, LinkedIn, or online. Just search for Mearns Gill.
Thanks for listening to our first podcast of the series. Don't forget, if you like what you've been listening to, please hit the follow button on this podcast. I'm super excited about the next episode.
Yeah, I think we can tell.
Yes, next week will be the podcast about podcasts. I can't wait for that. We will deep dive into the world of podcasts on a podcast, but that is next time.
Yeah, a big thank you to Mike for joining us this week on the first episode of M&G Agency Life.
Absolute pleasure. Enjoyed it.
Okay, we'll catch you next time.
Yeah, see you soon.